have some of my front garden beds, so I'm going to show you those real quick. So a lot of these plants were here when I got here. So these creeping phlox were here, and a lot of these big hostas were here. A few smaller hostas I put in. But yeah, there's a lot of beautiful plants in here. This is one of my favorites. Being visited by a bee. This is called a spiderwort. It kind of looks like it's somehow connected to the grass family. I'm not totally sure, but I think it's really beautiful in kind of an unconventional way. My peony has already bloomed out for the year, but if you look right over there, I have a little dianthus, a little volunteer dianthus. I don't think I planted that one there. I love impatiens this year. So I've been filling up my containers with impatiens that love the shade and just little bits of sun. So here, I believe this one is called a winter rose, if I remember right. It kind of looks like the flowers are made out of leaves, which I'm kind of intrigued by. Over here in this garden bed, I have some hostas. I have some green coleus. So the green coleus, I might exchange or add some purple coleus in here, but we'll see how that goes. And then I have two more sun patiens. These were once again some rescues that weren't doing very well. And then over there in the corner, I have my grandmother's little concrete squirrel. For those that remember the home in Midvale, they'll remember that. That I had, that was there for years and years and years. And here's one of my front baskets. This one is definitely overflowing with flowers, but I'm not complaining about that. And this here, one of my big things is, I love these begonias. They don't like a lot of sun, and they don't like a lot of really good waterings, so I kind of get to ignore them. Same with over here. I have a yellow and pink one in my gold pot. This is just a cheap pot I spray painted gold. And then this one, I have the kind of a dark pink reddish one. And then next to them, I forget these names, but I think pair very well with them. This garden bed was one I made a couple years ago out of old stone from a fence in Lapel. Additional flowers are in bloom over here, including some primrose, a little primrose right here. That one just flowered a little bit ago, and I think it's flowered out, but it had a little yellow flower. Now, as I said, I'm kind of obsessed with impatiens this year. Because I'm obsessed with impatiens, I've been planting them kind of like in empty areas. So I have I think last week I planted some of these. I planted these a couple weeks ago. And I'm just loving them. I really want them to fill in, looking really nice. You can see more of my coral bells over here. For some reason, this garden, so I have what I call two identical gardens up here. I use the same flowers in both, but this side seems to do a little bit better than over here. I'm not really sure why. The coral bells on this side seem to stay smaller. They might need a little bit more fertilizer, I'm not really sure. But the coral bells over here kind of turned enormous. Then I added some coleus here to just kind of fill in some of that space. And then I have my huge hostas. This is my monster hosta. I really need to split him up. But I kind of love how huge it is. I mean, it could hide the baby Moses under here, so I'm kind of loving it. And then this is some kind of a hydrangea. I forget its name. It's blooming a little early. I need to yell at it later. Tell it to stop blooming this early, because otherwise it blooms out. Another spiderwort. I've planted, I think, 2 or 3 new ones this year because I'm kind of obsessed with spiderwort. Over here I have some more coleus. This is another sun patient. This one, I took the ugliest sun patient that I had, who was doing the worst, and I put him in a nice prominent spot in this garden bed, which is one of my tricks. I take the ugliest ones and I put them in. Here I have a little guy who's doing just a teeny tiny little impatient. Something's eating my coleus. I'm going to have words with one of these plants. And then this urn, the 2 urns are actually planted identically, at least initially. This side, the lilies stayed in. I think that these are orange when they bloom. I don't remember. So you can't tell anymore that they are planted identically. And then here's this basket of plants. This one is only a little bit different because I have some hens and chicks up in the front. These shells came from Judge Tom Newman's home. They were found in his basement, and they were gifted to me, and so I have Judge Newman as a part of my garden now. Loving these pansies. I have a couple different varieties. I do have a little impatient right in here, and then a few little, I'm not totally sure what these are yet, so we're going to see what happens with them, but I kind of like them with my turtle, my little turtle statue hanging out there. So that's the front area. So now I can walk on over to these 2 little gardens. Actually, there's 3. Technically 4. But I have my super tall lilies here. I have my Rose of Sharon, which is in the hibiscus family. This one turns, I think it's a pink one. And then I have another winter rose. This one was a rescue from last year. Doing very, very well. I mean, those leaves are enormous. And then I have some daylilies throughout and a few other little things. This is a garden bed. I just have been kind of gradually adding to it. Some annuals, some perennials. I'm loving these colors. This like shocking pink. And then the same kind of flower, but it's white. And then these are some new ones that I haven't really gotten as heavily into, but I'm getting into them this year. They are called something like Aztec something or other, something weird. So that little garden bed, oh, and you have to take a look. If you see, I have my little dragons and fairies and gnomes and unicorns and things like that. I spray painted a whole lot of creatures, little plastic creatures to like inhabit my garden. So this is the first garden bed that I did that was that got me any attention. Judge Newman noticed me out here, and he came and talked to me, and he said how amazing it looked and how proud he was that I was taking the initiative to beautify the neighborhood. So here I have coneflowers that I don't know why, but they have decided to bloom super early. And then I'm loving that. I don't know the name of it anymore, but I'm loving that. And then some creeping phlox that have already bloomed out for the year. I have some sedums. Forget this name, but it's a bright yellow flower. I'll think of it later. And then some more coneflowers that are already starting to bloom. It's not even June yet. Do I have to tell my plants to stop growing? And then here's another, mostly lilies and bulbs. I don't normally plant annuals in here, but I might as these kind of bloom out. But I have 2 different kinds of daylilies. This one is a bright yellow, like a lighter yellow. And then this one is a golden yellow. There is a difference, I promise. But I'm loving how it's looking.